Wood smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. You see the shirt, divine, righteous, almighty greats, over, then add the A with overachieving, never, and then a S for slacking. So I need to drop those shirts. That's what I need to do. But we flying back to York. The last video I did was about what was it, like 15 places to visit in York, England. So now we're gonna do a video called "How to hold on, How to Piss Off York, England," and this is by Walter's World. Shout out to him; he makes amazing content. Original link will be in the description, and we're gonna dive right into it. Here we go.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in York, England, my favorite place to visit in England. And I want to give you today are some of the ways that tourists kind of rub the locals the wrong way when they come here to York. Because this is a famous historic city that tourists come to all the time, but there's a few things that people can do that might upset the locals. And I think the first thing you need to realize is if you meet someone from York and you don't offer them gravy with their chips, your friendship is over. Look, the people here love gravy. I mean, if you get your Yorkshire pudding with your Sunday roast, you're expecting not just a little bit of gravy, but like a lot of gravy. Like, just bring the whole pot over, please, kind of amount. And that's the same thing with their chips, okay? So if you get them some chips, make sure you got some gravy to go with those chips here. Otherwise, they're not going to be very happy with you. And I know
I don't know if I ever heard of anyone eating uh, gravy with chips before, but hey, I won't forget that. Gravy. Number one, gravy. I ever go to York? Gravy, gravy, gravy.
starting off with something kind of silly, but I think there's also kind of a more serious thing. And that is, if you're a tourist, you're a traveler coming here to York, and you get easily offended or affronted by the locals about their honesty. Because honestly, the people here in York are very, I would say, outgoing in terms of sharing their honest opinions on things, and they don't mean it to be rude. It's just how they talk to people, how they share things. And if you're getting all upset because they're being honest with you, that's going to upset them because they're in their mind, they're telling you the truth, and wouldn't you want to know the truth? And that's why they get very upset if you bring up some of the stereotypes about York and Yorkshire. So if you tell them, oh, you're so cheap here in York, they don't like that. But if you say they all wear flat caps and they have the whippet dog and stuff like that, those don't go over very well either. So just know that talking about the stereotypes of York and Yorkshire, not going to make you too many friends here. Though you will see the flat caps on sale in more than a few tourist shops. Now, another thing that someone from York,
I think the flat caps are pretty cool. I like them, honestly. I like that traditional look. It looks awesome.
won't appreciate is if you offer them a cup of tea and it's not Yorkshire tea. Okay, they love their local tea here. Yorkshire tea is a brand. It's kind of a stronger tea. I mean, I really like it. It's got some flavor. It's some bold flavor. Like, you'll enjoy it. You'll see it all over the place. And if you offer somebody tea from someplace else, nah, they're like, nah, bro, I'm good. And speaking of things you think might be from somewhere else, is you're not going to make any friends from people here in York if you tell them that Kit Kat, it's from the U.S. No, Kit Kat, you know the chocolate wafer candy bar?
Okay, I'm sure there will be a lot of arguments about that because Americans love their Kit Kat. That's for sure. They absolutely adore their Kit Kats. Um, yeah, I didn't. It looks so different being in York though. Like the packaging, everything about it. So let me hear what he says. Let me find out Kit Kat is from York.
You take a break, take a Kit Kat break kind of thing. That's from here in York. And they're proud of their chocolates here. Like,
Listen, shout out to York. I didn't know that. Thank you, because Kit Kats have always been one of the top favorite choices over here in America. Halloween time, you expecting to see a lot of Kit Kat in your goodie bag. So you guys influenced American culture a lot. I mean, I had no idea that Kit Kat was from York. But I'm not super surprised after watching the video about 15 things to do in York, England, and the people were hand making chocolate, and I'm not surprised that the best places probably come from places like York. I'm not, but hey, thank you. I'm not arguing. I'm actually really grateful. Much love.
Chocolate made a ton of money for York over the years, and Kit Kat is just one of the examples of some of the really tasty candies they've had from here, the chocolates they've had from here. So don't be like, oh, Kit Kat, isn't that from like Hershey's in Pennsylvania? No, bro, it's from here in York.
So on my reaction, 15 things to do in York, in England. If you watch that, then you remember me saying, "Wow, that the village kind of reminds me of Hershey Park in Pennsylvania." I now realize Hershey probably their whole setup, the way they built that is probably based off of, gotta be based off of York, England. It's gotta be based off of York. It looks so similar. I mean, it's probably inspired heavily by York. That's incredible. That is incredible. Like honestly, I'm definitely impressed because Hershey Park for me is like one of my favorite places in the world. And just even looking right here, like there's a building, that building right there with like looks white and like brown kind of, like a dark brown, like Hershey Park. It looks just like that. Just like that. It's incredible.
Another thing that might not make you too many friends.
This building right here, like the brown, the dark brown white one. I'm not sure if it's black or dark brown, but it just like Hershey Park. Just like you're walking through.
When you come here to York is how would I say that? Be befuddled by their accent and then ask them to repeat themselves. Look, the North in general has a different accent than the South of England, and I kind of look at it this way. The BBC English we watch in the US is more of southern England, not the North, not Yorkshire and up this way, okay? So if you have that confusion, be like, I don't understand their English, they'll just roll their eyes and be like, oh, BBC propaganda that we all sound like the Queen. God rest her soul. Another thing that the people of Yorkshire probably aren't going to appreciate is if you basically are from the south of England. Look, there is this kind of north-south divide in England between the north and the south, and it's not like super big, super bad, but it is something that might annoy people if you're like, oh, I'm from York, and you're like, oh, York, where is that close to London? No, it's not. They won't appreciate that. And so there is this kind of rivalry that they think, oh, the South is all smug and snobbish, and they're like, oh, well, the people from the North, they're from the.
It's crazy because it's like no matter where you go on the planet, I feel like it's like that. You know, whether it's east, west, north, south, there's always like this human rivalry. There's always this place that's more city like, and then there's this place that's more um, traditional and country like, and then there's like this little brewing, this beef brewing. You know, it's the regular at this point. Anywhere you go, you kind of hearing something.
The country and they're all just, cheap and stuff like that. You do have those kind of differences, and that can lead to a little annoyance by the locals if you're from the South or if you think that York's in the South. And that disdain isn't just limited to like the South of England. Another easy way, if someone kind of knows English geography and you tell them you're from York, or someone says they're from York, and someone goes, how close is that to Manchester? Oh my goodness, do not compare York to Manchester. Do not try to give directions via Manchester for people. Pick something else. How close is that to Leeds? I mean, I think it might be better to say how far is that from London than it is from Manchester and sometimes because, yeah, there is a little competition between the two. And so that might be something you want to kind of avoid, all right? So these are just some kind of fun ways that tourists might upset the locals. I mean, there's nothing bad here. Most of these things, no one's going to be upset because honestly, the people here in York are super friendly. They're super outgoing. You're going to go to some of the like hundreds of pubs around town, and I guarantee you will meet locals here that want to talk to you, chat you up, just learn about what you're enjoying here in York, and they're going to give you advice because honestly, you don't piss them off here at all because the people are really awesome, all right? So I hope you have a great time when you come here to York. Be careful with these little things here. If you want more serious, like, don'ts of travel, you can watch our video on the don'ts of visiting York, which will give you more, like, travel advice and more safety advice when you're here and more fun advice in terms of getting the most of your visit here in York. But I wanted to share these kind of upsettinesses that tourists do. So let us know in your comments below what are other things that tourists do that upset the locals here in York.
Don't offer them another tea that's not from York. Don't tell them, Kit Kats from the U.S. Always offer that gravy with the
This
chips and, in a dinner, I would just be offering gravy, everywhere, just and don't bring up South England much, or asking about Manchester or London or listen. With me, I would just I don't feel like I would have a problem because I know how to listen and I'm very respectful and I pay attention. I don't be quick to talk. I go to places like I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm watching. If I'm talking to tourists, it's your home. It's your land. So I'm listening to what you got to say, and I'm just being aware for the most part. I'm not coming there with like I'm from New York. You piss people. New York, you're gonna piss people off just by looking. But that's just the truth. So I'm not really worried about that. But um, I'm not gonna go there with no New York pride or no American pride. No, I'm gonna go there humble, a student, just like I do on YouTube. Humbly, I humbly listen. Um, and just be super respectful. Plus, I'm there for the culture. I'm there for the to learn, and I would definitely make that very clear. Listen, if I was visiting, I'd be like, listen, if I'm talking to a tour, not a tourist, we're the tourists. Excuse me, I don't know why we're the tourists, but I would listen humbly and I would say like, listen, I'm just here to learn. I'm not here to compare, right? I'm not here to compete. I'm not here to offend. I'm just here to learn the culture, as a student. So lead me the right way, right? But with that being said, that was How to Piss Off York, England. Original link in the description. Much love to York. Beautiful, beautiful city. So much history. And definitely a hidden gem. I'm still so surprised about the Kit Kat. The Kit Kat being from York. I'm surprised and I'm not surprised, it definitely was interesting to see that. And I really, really do think that Hershey, Pennsylvania, Hershey Park, and to be specific, really was influenced by York, and I'm about to look that up and see for myself. Like do diver research in the history because that's what York reminds me of. It reminds me of Hershey Park, one of my favorite places in the world. So, with that being said, I will see you guys soon. Enjoy your day. And remember, look, here go the shirt again. Divine, righteous, almighty greats. Gotta add the over and achieving together. So overachieving, never. And then we got slacking. Divine, righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. No matter what you do, never slack. Simple. And I wonder what the dragon folklore is like out in York. What y'all got to say about dragons? Let me know in the comments. I'll pin you to the top. With that being said, see you soon.